Thousands of honeybees pulse against the porch post, their bodies layered into a living knot that hums loud enough to make the whole backyard feel occupied. At first, it looks like trouble. The cluster hangs where no cluster should be, heavy and dark, shifting at the edges as bees crawl over one another. A few lift off, circle, and return. More flicker through the air like sparks. The sound is constant, close, and impossible to ignore. Every instinct says something dangerous has arrived. Step back from the door. Pull the dog inside. Keep children away. Do not reach for a broom. Do not grab a hose. Do not decide in that first rush of fear that this swarm needs to be chased out of the yard. Because this is the strange part. They are not pouring toward anyone. They are not spreading across the lawn in an attack. The mass is mostly still, clinging to one spot, as if thousands of insects have suddenly agreed to pause in public. That pause changes everything. A honeybee swarm like this is usually not an angry army. It is a colony between homes. Somewhere nearby, an old hive has split. The old queen has left with a large group of workers, and now they are gathered around her in a temporary resting place while scout bees search the neighborhood for a new cavity to live in. That means this hanging mass is not defending a finished nest. There is no honeycomb on this porch post, no stored honey packed away behind them, no larvae in wax cells, no permanent entrance they have committed to protect. Those are the things that make honeybees most defensive around an established hive. Here they are exposed, crowded, and waiting. They can still sting. If they are crushed, swatted, sprayed, shaken, or disturbed, they can defend themselves. Anyone with a serious sting allergy should stay well away and call for help. Caution still matters, but the big mistake is assuming that the loudest, most frightening-looking bee moment is automatically the most aggressive one. This swarm is not hunting for a person. It is hunting for a home. Inside that vibrating cluster, the colony is holding together around its queen while scouts fly out in different directions. They are inspecting hollows in trees, gaps in structures, empty boxes, and hidden cavities. They are gathering information. They are comparing options. The backyard has not been taken over. It has become a temporary waiting room for one of the most complex moving days in nature. Scout bees cut away from the cluster and vanish over fences, roofs, and trees, each one carrying the same urgent assignment. Find a place large enough for a colony to survive. They are not looking for your picnic table. They are not looking for a person to frighten. They are looking for an enclosed space, a tree hollow, a wall void, a dry cavity, an empty swarm box, somewhere with room for wax comb, brood, and stored honey. In some honeybee populations, researchers have found strong preference for cavities around 40 liters, not too cramped, not too exposed, with an entrance that can be defended. Then the scouts come back. On the surface of the swarm, a returning scout may begin to dance, turning and vibrating in a pattern that tells other bees the direction and distance of a possible home. Another scout may dance for a different site. A third may advertise something better. The porch post becomes more than a resting place. It becomes a living notice board, covered in tiny reports from the field. And there is no queen standing inside that cluster giving orders. The queen matters enormously. The colony is gathered around her, and she will travel with them when they leave. But she is not choosing the address. She is not commanding the scouts. The decision builds from many small acts. One bee inspects, returns, dances. Others follow, verify, and either support the same site or keep searching. Better sites tend to gain more dancers. Weaker options lose momentum Some scouts may even deliver stop signals that reduce support for rival dances. Slowly, without a central commander, the swarm moves toward agreement. That is what makes the stillness so deceptive. From a few steps away, it looks like a dark, buzzing lump. Inside the process, thousands of bees are narrowing a life or death choice. Pick a cavity too small, too wet, too exposed, or too easy to invade, and the new colony may fail before winter. Pick well, and this swarm becomes a full hive. Then, suddenly, the cluster can loosen. The tight mass breaks at the edges. Bees pour into the air, not as an attack, but as departure. The queen lifts with them. Informed scouts help guide the moving cloud toward the chosen site. For a few minutes, the yard may look more chaotic than ever, filled with circling bees and rising sound. But that may be the moment they are leaving. The frightening cloud can be the final stage before the swarm disappears into a tree hollow, a beekeeper's box, or, if luck is worse, a wall, attic, chimney, or other part of a building. And that is why chasing them can turn a simple problem into a complicated one. Do not spray them with water, pesticides, smoke, or household chemicals. Do not hit the branch, shake the post, burn anything, throw objects, or try to vacuum them with ordinary equipment. Disturbing the cluster can scatter the bees, make them defensive, kill part of the colony, and push the survivors into places that are much harder to remove. The safest response is often the least dramatic one. Keep children, pets, and anyone with a venom allergy away. Watch from a distance. Do not stand in the flight path. If the swarm is exposed outdoors, call a local beekeeper, beekeeping association, or professional who handles live swarm removal. If bees are entering a wall or structure, call a licensed removal specialist and do not seal the entrance. And before anyone acts, make sure they are honeybees. Wasps, hornets, and bumblebees are different animals with different risks. A swarm in the open is usually the easiest version of the situation. The harder problem begins when fear rushes in first, and the bees are driven from a calm stopover into chaos. The porch post is quieting now, or maybe it only feels quieter because the scene finally makes sense. The same cluster that looked like an invasion is still there, thick with bees, alive with motion, but it no longer reads as a threat moving toward you. It reads as a colony caught between one life and the next. That is the shift that matters. A swarm can still be dangerous if it is handled. A person with an allergy still needs real distance and professional help. Children and pets still need to be kept away. Respect does not mean pretending thousands of bees are harmless, but panic sees only the surface. It sees the cloud, the crawling mass, the noise, and it invents an attack. Understanding sees the pause. It sees workers surrounding a queen, scouts searching the neighborhood, dances spreading information through the cluster, and a colony trying to choose one safe place before the day changes around them. Most of what is happening has nothing to do with humans at all. The bees are not in the yard to challenge anyone. They are not gathered on the fence or branch or mailbox because they want to fight. They are there because a colony has divided, because spring growth has pushed one hive into becoming two, because an ancient process is unfolding in the open for a few strange hours. From the outside, it looks chaotic. Underneath, it follows rules. Scouts inspect, dancers recruit, rival sites compete, support builds, a quorum forms. Then the entire swarm, which seemed fixed in place, becomes airborne and moves towards a decision made by no single ruler. That is why the smartest human response is restraint. Step back. Give the cluster space. Call someone who knows how to collect honeybee swarms alive, especially while the bees are still exposed and accessible. Do not force the moment. Do not turn a calm colony into a frightened one. Do not push them into a wall, an attic, or a place where the problem becomes harder for everyone, bees included. Look again at the hanging mass on the porch post. It is loud. It is strange. It deserves caution. But it is not a monster in the yard. It is a homeless honeybee colony, briefly visible, waiting while its scouts decide the future.